Welcome to another episode. I am your host, Ray, and today I have a very, very special guest. I am accompanied by Tamika Newhouse. She is a self-made, best-selling author and the CEO of AAMBC Incorporation, which is a creative agency for Black writers. She overcame the projected stigma that teen moms can't have it all by working in the radio and literary industries to go on to create Delphine publications by the age of 20. She has created a publishing empire that has housed more than 30 writers at a single time, releasing nearly 300 titles as a producer and writer. She assists others in chasing their literary dreams as well by producing films, curating large events and festivals, as well as publishing books. In Tamika's short 16 years in the literary scene, she has released 18 books of her own, many of which have appeared on several bestseller lists, earning her much recognition and multiple awards. Tamika Newhouse is proven to be a trailblazer who's creating a lane for Black creatives to be heard and respected with no signs of slowing down. Now, let's just rewind a little bit. 16 years is not...
I like that bio.
16 years is not short in the literary scene. Let's just put that out there. But I want to thank you for joining me. This is a special episode for me personally because I am a writer myself. I'm a writer and a poet, so I kind of flip those two. But thank you for joining me today. How are you doing?
Thank you, Ray, for allowing me to come on. I always love to have conversations around my work because I love sharing how it's possible for anybody to accomplish the things they want to accomplish. So thank you so very much. And I'm doing pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this. So my first question is, what does AAMBC stand for? And with creating this agency, how has it helped those who are a part of this incorporation?
Well, AAMBC, the acronym stands for African Americans on the Move Book Club. And I wanted to kick off a literary movement because I wanted our stories to be amplified. There were so many Black people that were writing books and putting stories out there, and we were not getting the exposure that we needed and we so desired. So creating this movement was essentially creating a space and a platform for us to be known and amplified, essentially. Yes.
I like that. So how many people you would say are involved within this movement so far?
That's a good question. So well over 5,000 people I've worked with, and I've worked with almost, and that number is probably on the low end because it's a few hundred every year, and it's been 16 years now. From book signings to book reviews to events to being awarded with our AAMBC Literary Award. We've honored people like Nikki Giovanni, Eric Drum-Dickey, Terry McMillan, Zane, Terry Woods, Issa Rae, Will Packer, Rodney Barnes. I can keep on and on. But we still have, at the root of my work, I do focus on the underdog, like the independent writer, those that do not have that big publisher backing them or that big production house backing them. I still put a lot of my work into amplifying those writers. But we also, too, want to pay homage and give flowers to those that have far exceeded their expectations, and they're leading the way. They're opening up doors for other people, such as myself, to be, to get my books on the bookshelf. So it's been thousands of people I've been able to work with, mentor, encourage, celebrate, and it has been like a labor of love. It has been beautiful to see it grow over the years.
You named some nice names. Over 5,000 is crazy. But within that time frame, I could expect that number to be up there in that ballpark. Being a self-published author, how was the process for you, and what were some things that took you by surprise?
Well, being a self-published author, I discovered it because I started AAMBC as an online book club. Mm-hmm. And through that book club, I began to meet hundreds of other published writers that I never heard of. And at that moment, I thought that to get a book out, you had to get a book deal. But they actually put the books out on their own. And when I asked them, well, how did you do that? They was like, well, I self-published. And I didn't really know what that meant. And essentially, it's the same thing as how somebody would put out a mixtape or they put out their own EP. You go into a studio, you record your music, you get it edited, you get your producers, you get the people to mix it and sound and all that jazz, and then you distribute it. And so with putting out a book, I went to go find the steps to make it work. So that's finding an editor, finding a designer that can, design the inside of the book, design the book cover. Like, it was literally just finding and discovering the steps, which Google was my best friend. And I literally put the book together in a matter of a few months. And this was a book that I had handwritten at the age of 20. And it was just sitting there collecting dust. I had to type it all up because it was freehand written. So when I typed it up, I know I still got that journal around here somewhere. I typed it up, sent it to the editor, and the rest was history. Now, what I knew was that when the book came out, because I didn't have a publisher, it wasn't just about to go to the bookstores. Right. I literally had to, get it from the mud. Literally go out on the streets, hit the pavement, and tell people about my book. And because I did not want to wait for a publisher to say that my book was good enough, I self-publishing it pretty much put fate into my own hands, but meaning if it was going to be successful or not successful was up to me. So I put myself on tour. I went to find bookstores, book clubs. I went up to New York City, and I'm from Texas. I'm a country girl from Fort Worth, Texas, when Fort Worth was still a small city. And going up to New York and Harlem and Queens and the Bronx, I'm getting on the corners of the streets, and and I'm connecting with the street vendors out there. And I got my own table set up, and I'm screaming out at the top of my lungs, book signing, y'all come get y'all books. And I would sell hundreds of books on the street. And I was super aggressive with how I was promoting my book, that I caught the attention of the senior editor of Kensington, which is one of the top 5 publishers in the world. And they discovered and they heard about my book, The Ultimate No-No. And they was like, look, we heard some good things about this book. We need to, can you send us a copy? What you got going on? And my first thought was, it's $15 because I don't give out no books for free. But I'm hustling, I'm trying to make sure everybody's, paying for their books. I'm like, she's an editor, she's important, so I'll go here and give her one. And I'm 21, y'all, so I'm young. No, I'm 23 at this moment. No, I'm 21. Yeah, I'm 21. So I'm young, really don't know how important this lady really is, but I sent her the book. 3 months later, she hit me back and said they wanted to purchase the rights to the book. And I ended up landing a major book deal with Kensington 9 months after I self-published. And that book was everywhere. It was all over the world. I was gaining new readers all over the world. It was a dream come true.
I'm going to have to get that book then.
What? Yeah, get it. It's the Ultimate No-No. It got 4 parts. It is good. It is drama-filled. It's funny. It's some secrets and twists and turns. It's one of the best literatures I've ever written because I was new. I was green. But yeah, it's my best, but then not my best for completely different reasons. Because when you get 10 books in, you already kind of know what to expect. You're going to try to write, your writing becomes better. You know how to transition scenes and build your characters better. I didn't really know how to do this. My writing in the Ultimate No-No 1, 2, 3, and 4 was super raw. And I will always appreciate that moment in my life, but I do love how I can truly tell a story now.
I'm in this point in my life where I'm building a library that's just strictly filled with Black literature. So I need a plethora of different types of books. Because when I do purchase books, I mainly go for the informational, things I can learn from and just stuff like that. But I'm not really too sure. If I step outside of that, what can I buy?
Girl, a whole bunch of everything.
Yes.
There is a lot of books that's super entertaining out there. You have historical fiction, written by people like Octavia Butler and Maya Angelou, and of course, then you can dive into more entertainment-driven literature like Eric Jerome Dickey. You got The Coldest Winter Ever. One of my favorites was All That in a Bag of Chips by Darian Lee. And what's beautiful about reading for entertainment is when you're watching a TV show or you're watching a movie, you don't catch everything. And also movies are 90 minutes and they're a piece of the story and they have to really kind of tell you the story quickly. A book does not. You capture everything, every emotion, every thought, everything that's going on in the room. You have
have to read every single word, so you're connecting with the story in a way that you can never imagine. Reading is super fun. I mean, it's the bomb.
Like that's I love reading. And one thing I do like about reading is like when I read books that are based off of movies, of like I would prefer reading a book just because it touches on so many things that they don't put in the movie. And
Right.
one of the books that I actually read 2-3 months ago, I've never seen the movie, but I know about the movie. I know who's in the movie. And the book is Waiting to Exhale.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So when I read the book, I'm like, okay, like I'm envisioning every scene that's going on and things like that. But there have been plenty of times where I could have watched the movie, but I just chose not to. So when I read the book, I'm like, yeah, I like this better. I'm gonna watch the movie one day. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, but hey, you know what? Watch it and see how different it is, because you know a movie is 90 pages, maybe 100 pages, and you know you got to think about one page is a minute, and a book can be over 300 pages. So there is always a big part of the story that's not going to make the big screen.
Yeah, definitely. So the Writers' Weekend, that has been a frequent post that well, not even a post, an ad that's been popping up on my For You page for months. So I want to tap in on that. Within the 13 years that it's been around, are you able to name some intricate details that stood out to you that either helped you better help others that are involved, or that helped develop the work that you're doing?
Well, for sure, when it came to Black Writers Weekend, my main goal was to always have an opportunity to where authors can extend or expand on their career. When I started this work, often people call me the pioneer in this literary event space, because there was only a handful of people that was producing events, and there was no one producing events the way that I was doing it, where it infused music, arts, food, alcohol, and there was a party and an experience around books. Even so, I called it the literary experience. And I started in 2011. But the thing about it is, like, there's so many of these events that's going on right now, like event curation and being a curator. You know, that's so used a lot these days. But you'll have these type of events where it can either be a money grab for the person that's curating it, or it's just a fun meetup, right? But the events that I put together, I want to make sure there's people in the room that can advance the writer's career. So it's going to be agents in the room, publishers, financiers will be in there, editors, people that host podcasts, shows, people that can write your script, edit your script. Like, I want to make sure that this is a room full of resources. Because what is the point on hopping on the plane so you can just take pictures for social media and say I was there? That's not very productive in my opinion. So my events have always been rooted in resources, and to ensure that the people in the room, like, of course, I'm gonna put you in the room. Now, what you do in the room, once you're in the room, is up to you.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna make sure that you can get into the room and there's some people that you can talk to. So my events have always been rooted in making sure that it's filled with resources for writers.
Ooh, I love that. So if somebody was interested, how would they go about being a part of that experience, or being somebody who is like a scriptwriter or editor? How would they go about that?
You got to simply show up. Like, especially for these things, we want these type of events to exist. And granted, it's always awesome to go to the events where, you know, the big leagues is there, the A-listers and all that. But you'll see events like South by Southwest, where they're featuring films from Netflix and Amazon and Disney. And I'm like, it started when y'all was talking about The Underdog. Like, where those films at? And then, but those films is there, but they film like on Monday night, like on a very off time. And I'm like, what happened to ensuring that you stay connected to the people that's trying to climb to the top, and not just continue to amplify people that's already there?
Right.
So you just got to show up. You got to show up in the room, and you have to give events like Black Writers Weekend the opportunity to grow, to be seen, and utilize the resources that is going to be in the room. So simply show up. A lot of these events that we do for the Black Writers Weekend are free. The Pitch Fest tickets are super cheap. The access tickets to get to the master classes and the workshops and things like that, super affordable. We try to make it affordable to where it just makes sense. And then we have the marketplace. The marketplace essentially is built like a trade show. We want librarians to come and look at your books, buyers to come and look at your books, publishers, editors, et cetera, as well as the everyday reader. So you just got to show up and get into the room. Literally, we don't say no to nobody. Unless you come acting a fool, then I'm gonna give you that side eye, and I'm gonna look at the security people like,
yeah, come
that one.
Come get that.
Yeah, you gonna have to come and get that one. We don't have to do that a couple times. You'll be surprised.
So when's the next event?
It's going to be July 31st through August 2nd. So it's the very first weekend in August.
Okay. Yeah, you just get to thinking about that. I think it's time.
Come on down.
It's time for me to start traveling to different places. Cause
Absolutely.
I actually just published a book in December. It's a poetry book. It's like 30 to 35 poems in there. It was never my idea to actually publish a book last year. It was just I was sparked with so much inspiration, just like the things I was going through, like in life, just in general. After like the past couple months, starting from like February up to like April and past that. So I'm like, okay, I'm over here opening Google Docs and just going away. And I even was writing like in my notebook just different things. And then I'm like, okay, I got over 50 different types of stuff. Okay, what am I gonna do with it? So writing, I'm like, you know what? Let's just turn this into a book and just see what happens. Yeah, I plan on writing them more, but the next book that I drop is not gonna be poetry. When I do it, it's gonna be nice. But speaking of publishing, so for someone who's looking to publish with you, how does that process go?
Well, so with my company, Delphine Publications, I don't technically publish other writers. I consult. Mm-hmm. So right now, my publishing house, it only has a select few that we actually invest in and publish. Mm-hmm. But with my media company, Delphine Legacy Media, I have a roster of writers that I work with. I mentor, I usher them in. We manage their brand, their media outreach, their book tours, media training, all the outreach that they would need to get to the bookstores and things like that. So I manage as many writers as we can handle. And if you are a good partner, because working with Delphine Legacy Media is a partnership. It's not technically, all right, Delphine Legacy Media, do this for me and make me famous or make me rich or do this and do that. It's essentially a partnership, because authors are artists, and you'll never see an artist, let's say a visual artist or a musician, you'll never see them put out their work and they don't do a show, or they're not doing photo shoots, they're not doing interviews, they're not traveling and doing concerts, and you'll almost never see that, because they know they have to promote their work. It's the same when it comes to a literary artist. When you put out that book, you got to do your marketing, you got to do your book signage, you got to go out there and talk to people and connect. It is a partnership. So anyone that is looking to receive that type of work and that type of assistance, and we do the whole publishing process as well. Even for films, we do the whole process for films, down to writing it, down to breaking down the project itself, to producing it, getting it filmed, getting it edited from point A to point B. We can do absolutely everything that you think that you would want to do up under the sun. Mm-hmm. So, and that's under Delphine Legacy Media. Delphine is DELPHINE.
Okay. Yeah, you talking a lot of good stuff to me right now. I'm excited. So, within your journey, what are some lessons or skills that you have learned that you take with you now?
Man, that's a very broad question, because there is lessons personally and professionally that I have learned. So I'll answer one for each. Mm-hmm. Professionally, what I have learned was that everybody doesn't get your yes. Mm-hmm. You can't tell everybody yes at all, for a number of different reasons, a lot of layered reasons. But for the main part is, especially if you are an artist or whatever you're trying to build on your own, focus on that, build that, and you can collaborate with people and things along the way. But that should not be a big part of your journey. And you should be able to find a really good balance between the two. So I would definitely say everyone doesn't deserve your yes. And then personally, when it comes to lessons that I have learned, is that life goes on. Whatever's going on right there in that moment, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, it only lasts for that particular moment. So if it's a good moment, enjoy that good moment. If it's a bad moment, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
And life will go on.
It will. Your answer kind of like ties in a little bit with the next one. But what are some words of advice that you can give someone who is looking to go against the odds and create and or produce something that is to be given to the world?
Well, you got to understand your why first. Like, why do you want to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you get to the point to where you want to quit, because you will. When you get to the point to where you feeling overwhelmed, because you will. You're going to want to remember why you're doing this. And it needs to be a good reason why. Not a reason why, I want to get to some money. I want to be popular online. It has to be something that's more fulfilling internally, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. Really connect to the reason why this is what you want to do. So connect with your why first and stay true to that. And then out of all of this is super, super important. If the overall goal is to put out a movie, I need you to break down that goal. There's a lot of steps in between to getting that movie done. Whereas, you got to get a script, money, actors. You may got to get your script edited. You need to find locations, then et cetera, et cetera. Whatever the goal is, though, there are a lot of micro goals that you have to accomplish first before you can get to that final goal. So my advice is to identify those micro steps. All those small steps that you have to take to get to the overall big goal, that's what you have to focus on. You don't focus on the goal. You focus on the steps. And when you break down those steps, you're only going to focus on one step at a time. So if it's 30 to 50 steps that you end up having to write out, don't look at all those steps. I want you to look at one step at a time and accomplish that one step. Before you know it, you're going to be 15 steps in, 20 steps in, and boom, you at the finish line, and now you can kick off. Now you at your goal, like et cetera, et cetera. Because when you think about the big goal, you tend to get overwhelmed. Yeah. And it don't really matter. The big goal don't matter yet because you ain't met the smaller goal right here. So just break down your goals into really, really small steps, and you are guaranteed to get to that big goal.
Yeah, round of applause for that. I love that. So I want to go back to when you were basically marketing yourself when you went up to New York. Something that's been like a pattern as far as like speaking to different people. Community plays a big thing in what you want to pursue. So when you were taking those leaps of faith, did people like look at you kind of strange, or like were they on board with what you had going on? Like, did they believe in your book? Did they believe in you making those strides to just be out of the ordinary?
Oh yeah, I had both. I had people that believed in me, but a lot of people that believed in me wanted to be close to me to use me. You have to be careful of that, of allowing people into your space. So yes, you'll have genuine people that believe in you, but for the most part, people will be people. And for the most part, people are going to think about what's in it for them, what can they get out of it, what's beneficial for them. So don't take that offensively. Don't take it, not offensively, don't take it personally when you realize that about somebody. They just playing the game. Yeah. They doing their part for themselves. It is what it is. What you have to do is be smart and be wise in this journey that we call life. People going to come across that you can also utilize. But make sure that when you're utilizing these people, you're doing it for good intentions, and they can also be, you also be of service to them. It needs to be like a give and take both ways. And I experienced a lot of users in my journey, and then a lot of users that pointed fingers at me when things didn't work out for them, which I thought was weird. I call that mental illness. Like, how you blame it on me and this your thing? So and again, I played a part in it only because I was super naive, super open, and super giving. And I was super naive with it in a lot of different things. You got to understand, I was 21 when I started the business, 23 when I was full time in this business, and I'm learning things as I grow. So people are seeing me do a lot of different things, and they want to be connected to that.
Yeah.
So yes, came across a lot of users, and that hurt my feelings. That was another mistake on my end. Don't take it personal, and please don't put emotions in business. Keep it moving, get smart, and move differently, and move accordingly. And then, on the other end, I had people that just did not like me for whatever. Well, I know why they ain't like me. I'm a go-getter. I'm a lone wolf for the most part. I speak my mind, and I don't technically need friends. So, and I'm super consistent when it comes to the things that I want to do and I want to accomplish. And so either people are going to love that or they're going to dislike that. They're not going to like you because, as they say, you think you all that. And I think that's weird to say because I do think I'm all that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Am I not supposed to think I'm not all that? Like,
right.
I don't get it. So it's you have to be able to shut out the negativity. You have to tap into your discernment, like that gut feeling when you know things are for you and when they're not. You can't allow people to have so much access to your personal space, and you have to move with wisdom. And it just is what it is. The people are in the world, and you need people to grow and to explore and to even to build and also to earn. We need people. But in that journey and in that process, you got to be wise about the people that you come across, because you will come across those snakes. You will come across those users. You will come across those haters. But you'll also come across those people that love what you're doing, and they want to support you. They're rooting you on. They're talking about you in good ways in rooms that you haven't stepped into. Like, you got to take the good with the bad, because it is going to happen.
That's definitely the truth right there. I preach that so much to so many different people. Like, even just from my experience alone, like I'm like a giver, and I'm very optimistic. So if somebody has an idea or like a business plan or something, I'm there rooting for them, because my thing is I want to see my people succeed in whatever it is that they do. I don't like to promote negativity, nothing like that. It's all just about positivity and uplifting the next person, because you never know what somebody goes through behind closed doors. And for, like I said, for me personally, like, I've dealt with those who are like users and like manipulators and stuff like that. And it's just like, I understood that jealousy, it plays a big part in a lot of people's personalities. Like, I go about life like it's two different types of people. It's those with good spirits and there's those with evil spirits. And I've encountered those with evil spirits because they see like the light that I have, the ambitions that I have, and just things that they're not filled with. So with me taking, my leaps of faith and just trying different things, or even trying to have conversations with them about my goals, my aspirations, I can see like that kind of just turns them off, like it just disrupts them as a people. And it's like, at the end of the day, like, I want to be able to get myself to a point where I can help others, and I'm not trying to gloat or act like I'm better than you or anything like that. I think anybody has the potential to be something greater than what they are, but some people just look at you like, like you say, she thinks she all that, or she thinks she did. It's like, okay, maybe I do, but sometimes I don't. I just think like I'm a person who was put here on this earth for a purpose, and me realize what my purpose is, I'm supposed to step in that because I'm supposed to,
Yep.
But some people, they just and it's like, okay, well, like, I still wish you the best and everything like that, but all that negativity, just keep that over there. And I like how you said, take the good with the bad. I always say you take the salt with the sugar, but yeah, it's these people out here, they be crazy sometimes.
Yeah, they're cuckoo, but you have to think about it too. Like, the night exists and day exists. Good exists and bad exists. They coexist for a reason.
Yep.
One is not going to exist without the other. And it just is what it is.
Definitely. But as a closer, I know we spoke a lot about what your agency stands for, and I love it. Snaps to that and claps to that. Something that I ask people frequently is dreams versus passion. So when you take the work that you do into consideration, Do you believe that this is a dream or this is a passion for you?
Well, my dream was to be a published writer. I told my mother at 12 I was going to be a famous authoress. And I just knew that I even had a dream around that age. I was sitting in a cafe and my hands was moving on this monitor and I was sipping coffee. And I could tell I was in a coffee shop. Now, I'm still a kid. I don't drink coffee, and we didn't have laptops. I didn't know what that was in my dream I was typing on. But God had already revealed to me where I was going to end up at, and I knew that's where I was going. And when it actually happened, I remembered that dream, like, oh, wow, like, that it was a laptop I was typing on. Like, it kind of showing my age, y'all, but we ain't had no laptops back then at home. So that part, being an author, that is my dream come true. But the work that I do around media, producing, marketing, and just general storytelling, that is my passion. So I have not worked since I was 23. I quit my job, dropped out of school at 23, and I've been doing my passion ever since.
What school did you go to?
I went to St. Philip's Community College, or I think it's called Community College. It may be a full 4-year college now. But in San Antonio, Texas. And that was what year was I 23? That was in 2011, 2010. One of them years. But yeah, so I went to St. Philip's College. Yeah, St. Philip's College in San Antonio, Texas. Yeah, and I had 1 semester left.
Oh, wow.
I know. But I was going for education, and I decided I wasn't doing that.
Yeah, I had my story is similar to that. Like my first year of school when I went, it was like, no, this is not really what you want to do. So yeah, I get that 100%. But I want to thank you for having this conversation with me. This was lovely, and you touched on a lot of different things that I hope people take heed to.
All right, my darling. Well, I'm here, and I appreciate you. I'm rooting for you. And just let me know. I'll send you over a form for Delphine Legacy Media. And when you're ready, just fill it out and then we can hop on the phone.
Okay. Thank you. I'm excited about this.
All right, my darling. Yes, I'm excited for you being intentional. So that shows how much you love yourself, and that's big. So keep loving on you and keep pouring into yourself and doing the things that you feel that will help get you to the space that you want to be in.
Definitely. I will. Thank you for that.